Satyam vada dharmachara satyamev jayate. Good evening, friends. I am Vipul Kumar. Welcome to the news desk on income tax, GST, and corporate laws. Under corporate laws, MCA allow companies to conduct their extraordinary general meeting via e-mode up to September 30, 2020. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs is fully cognizant of the difficulties faced by companies on account of the ongoing nationwide lockdown and social distancing due to COVID-19. The ministry has also taken note of various representations received from industry association and corporates on the need to facilitate companies in taking certain urgent measures in the face of the extreme disruption and dislocation caused by the pandemic. MCA White General Circular number 22/2020 dated 15th June 2020 has been decided to allow companies to conduct their extraordinary general meeting through video conferencing or other audio video means, or transact item through postal ballot in accordance with the framework provided in the aforesaid circulars up to 30th September 2020. All other requirements provided in the said circular remains unchanged. Ministry of Corporate Affairs allows companies to hold annual general meeting through video conferencing or other audio visual means. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs Wide General Circular number 18/2020 dated 21st April 2020 has already allowed to the companies whose financial year ended on 31st December 2019 to hold their annual general meeting by 30th September 2020. However, on account of the need for continuous adherence to the social distancing norms and restrictions placed on movement of persons, it has become necessary and hence it has been decided to allow companies to hold their annual general meeting by video conferencing or other audio visual means during the calendar year 2020. Accordingly, the General Circular number 22/2020 has been issued on 5th May 2020. The framework provided in the earlier circular for the holding extraordinary general meeting would be applicable without for the conduct of the annual general meeting during 2020 based on the classification of companies which are required to provide the facility of e-voting or have opted for the same, and those companies which are not required to provide such a facility. Owing to the difficulty in sending physical copies of the financial statements, the circular allows the companies to send the financial statement along with board report, auditor reports, and other documents required to be attached therewith only through email. The company are also required to provide a window to the shareholder for registering their mandate for transferring dividend electronically to them through the electronic clearing service or any other means. The measure has been taken to facilitate companies to conduct their ordinary and special business through annual general meeting conducted by the leveraging the Digital India platform. Under Income Tax Act, CBDT notify income tax cost inflation index CII for the financial year 2020-21 or assessment year 2021 and 22 wide notification number 32/2020 dated 12th June 2020 at 301. Cost inflation index helps taxpayer calculation his long-term capital gains on sale of the long-term capital assets. CBDT notifies Form Sahaj ITR 1, Form ITR 2, Form ITR 3, Form Sugam ITR 4, Form ITR 5, Form ITR 6, Form ITR 7, and Form ITR 5 for assessment year 2020-21, that is financial year 2019-20, by notification number 31/2020 income tax dated 29th May 2020. CBDT notify new Form 26 as annual information statement. CBDT notified new Form 26A's annual information statement. Pursuant to the Finance Act 2020 and amendment, insert new Rule 114I to be effective from June 1st and omit Rule 31AB. Budget 2020-21 had introduced a new Section 285BB in the Income Tax Act to implement a revised Form 26As. In that effect, CBDT has notified new Form 26As annual information statement via notification number 30/2020 dated 28 May 2020. Rule 31AB has been omitted and Rule 114I has been inserted after Rule 114As to share annual information in respect of each taxpayer, not only of the taxes paid by the TDS or TCS or otherwise. This form will also have mobile number, email ID and Aadhaar number of the taxpayer. Information on this 26As will not be one-time affair at year end. This will be live 26As as this will be updated regularly within 3 months from the end of the month in which such information is received. The revised 26As form is more comprehensive and informative and will be complete profile of the taxpayer for a particular year. The implication of the Form 26As will be that bank, financial institution or any other authority or customer, buyer, etc., while carrying out the due diligence of the person or corporate concerned will now ask for Form 26As so as to be sure that there are not any major issue about such person or corporates. As a result of the introduction of new 26As, now it will be difficult for any taxpayer to hide information from any bank, financial institution, authority about any proceeding against under any law or tax demand, tax dispute, etc. Under GST, recommendation of the GST Council related to the law and procedure by press release issued by the Ministry of Finance dated 12th June 2020. This is effective from the 1st July 2020. What this GST recommendation? Reduction in the late fee for past returns, further relief for the taxpayer, a small taxpayer for late filing of a return for the February, March and April 2020 tax period, relief for a small taxpayer for subsequent tax period May, June and July 2020, and one-time extension in the period for the seeking revocation of the cancellation of the registration. Thank you so much for watching this newsletter. तो बने रहिए हमारे चैनल के साथ। इसी के साथ नमस्कार। सत्यमेव जयते, सत्यम वद धर्माचर। थैंक यू। सत्यम वद धर्माचर, सत्यमेव जयते। Good evening, friends. I am Vipul Kumar. Welcome to today's news desk on income tax, GST, and corporate laws. Under corporate law, a scheme for relaxation of time for filing forms related to creation or modification of charges under the Companies Act 2013, MCA General Circular number 23/2020, dated 17th June 2020. In detail, our panelist Lokesh Agarwal, FCA CS, explain the circular in detail. Under Income Tax Act, there are 3 changes. First, reassessment notice can't be issued if proceeding with respect to notice issued under Section 142 is pending. Section 142, subsection 1 and Section 148 cannot operate simultaneously if notice has already been issued under Section 142 and proceedings are pending. Income cannot be said to have escaped assessment. This is decided by the Gujarat High Court. Amendment 2nd, Tiger Global AAR rulings. The Honorable Advance ruling has rejected the application made by the Tiger Global International entities in relation to taxability of the capital gains earned by it from sale of shares in Flipkart in India. The advance authorized ruling relied upon the facts of the case to suggest that the transaction is the prima facie designed to avoid tax and thus rejected application filed by the applicants. In this regard, it is relevant to note that Section 245R subsection 2 of the Income Tax Act provides for 3 reasons on which application made to the advance authority ruling can be rejected, which are as follows. The matter already pending with the income tax authority or tribunal, the matter involved determination of the fair market value, the matter relates to the transaction or issue which is designed prima facie for avoidance of tax. Since the third condition was satisfied, advance authorized ruling rejected the application. Amendment third, High Court remanded matter to give opportunity to assessee to submit particulars related to the claim of the condonation of the delay. Where assessee claimed condonation of delay in filing return on account of the serious cancer element that had affected his infant daughter. However, his application for condonation of delay was rejected on ground that he had not placed material particulars regarding his pressing compulsion to give more devoted attention to treatment of his daughter. Matter was to be remanded back for consideration afresh, giving one more opportunity to assessee to produce all material particulars relating to the treatment of the child. Kerala High Court decided. Under GST, CBIC clarify on the leviability of the GST on remuneration paid by the companies to the independent directors or those directors who are not the employee of the said company, and leviability of the GST on remuneration paid by the companies to the directors who are also an employee of the said company. White Circular number 140/10/2020 dated 10th June 2020. Our panelists CA Lokesh Agawar, FCACS, explain the corporate laws latest circular and GST circular. Welcome, Lokesh.
Thank you, Vipul. Thank you. So, friends, first of all, I would discuss the topic of scheme for relaxation of time for filing forms related to creation or modification of charges under the Companies Act. दोस्तों, आज 17 जून को MCA ने एक सर्कुलर इशू किया है। जैसे कि आप जानते हैं कि 30 मार्च को जब लॉकडाउन की शुरुआत हुई थी तो कंपनीज को कुछ रिलैक्सेशन दिया गया था फॉर्म फाइलिंग के लिए, या MCA में काफी सारे रिलैक्सेशन दिए गए थे, लेकिन चार्जेस के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं बताया गया था। तो इंडस्ट्री से काफी प्रेजेंटेशंस गई थी MCA को, तो MCA ने इंडस्ट्री जो भी प्रेजेंटेशंस गई थी उसको कंसीडर किया और क्रिएशन एंड मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ चार्ज का जो फॉर्म फाइल होता है उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए टाइम पीरियड बढ़ाया है। तो जो 1 मार्च 2020 से पहले यदि कोई चार्ज क्रिएट हुआ है और उसकी कोई फाइलिंग की जो टाइम लिमिट्स हैं उनको एक्सटेंड कर दिया है, और जो एक्सटेंशन का जो टाइम है दैट विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 1 अक्टूबर। सो ये एक मेजर रिलैक्सेशन दिया गया है कंपनी को जो लोन लेती हैं बैंक से, फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन से, और उन्हें कुछ पर्टिकुलर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम में फॉर्म फाइल करना होता है। सो इससे काफी इंडस्ट्री में राहत मिलेगी कंपनीज को। अब हम दूसरी बात करते हैं GST ऑन डायरेक्टर्स रेम्यूनरेशन। दोस्तों, कुछ दिन पहले आपने सुना होगा कि एक अथॉरिटी फॉर एडवांस रूलिंग ने एक अपना जजमेंट दिया था जिसमें बोला था कि किसी भी डायरेक्टर को कंपनी से कोई भी अमाउंट मिलता है उस पे कंपनी को RCM में रिवर्स चार्ज में GST पे करना होगा। तो इससे इंडस्ट्री में काफी कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट हुआ था कि डायरेक्टर जिसको सैलरी मिलती है तो क्या सैलरी पे भी GST पे करना होगा कंपनी को। उसके बाद फिर एक राजस्थान अथॉरिटी फॉर एडवांस रूलिंग का एक जजमेंट आया, तो उसने एक डिफरेंट अपना जजमेंट दिया कि डायरेक्टर की सैलरी पे आरसीएम में कंपनी को जीएसटी पे नहीं करना पड़ेगा। तो इन चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस ने, सीबीईसी ने एक अपना क्लैरिफिकेशन दिया है, जिसमें उन्होंने बिल्कुल क्लियर कर दिया है कि जो डायरेक्टर एम्प्लॉय है कंपनी का एंड जिसकी सैलरी बुक होती है कंपनी की बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में, और जिसकी एज पर इनकम टैक्स सेक्शन 192 में टीडीएस कटता है, उस पे कोई जीएसटी एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा। दूसरा, जैसे कुछ इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर्स होते हैं एंड दे आर नॉट द एम्प्लॉय ऑफ द कंपनी, जैसे कि हम बात करें कि उन्हें सिटिंग फीस मिलती है या फीस फॉर टेक्निकल एंड प्रोफेशनल सर्विस के फॉर्म में उनको जो रेम्यूनरेशन मिलता है, जिस पे टीडीएस कटता है अंडर सेक्शन 194J, तो उस पे कंपनी को अंडर आरसीएम जीएसटी पे करना होगा। तो ये बिल्कुल क्लियर कट क्लैरिफिकेशन आ गया है सीबीईसी का। तो इस पे करीब 1 महीने तक दोनों अथॉरिटी फॉर एडवांस रूलिंग की अलग अलग जजमेंट्स की वजह से इंडस्ट्री में काफी कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट हो गया था। तो इससे अब बिल्कुल पिक्चर क्लियर है। तो मुझे लगता है कि आगे इससे अब कुछ भी कंपनीज को डायरेक्टर्स के रेम्यूनरेशन के बारे में बहुत ज्यादा सोचना पड़ेगा कि भाई वो जीएसटी पे करें या ना करें। बिल्कुल।
थैंक यू लोकेश, थैंक यू लोकेश। सत्यमेव जयते, थैंक यू सो मच। सत्यम वद धर्माचर सत्यमेव जयते। Welcome to News Desk on Income Tax, GST and Corporate Laws. Under corporate laws, each scheme of an angel fund is an independent scheme with its own set of investors. SEBI clarifies today. The SEBI has come up with the informal guidance for the investors who were seeking guidance from the SEBI. Through this informal guidance, the SEBI has clarified that each scheme of an angel fund is an independent scheme with its own set of investors who have approved to be part of such scheme. Plea to initiate corporate insolvency resolution process accepted as it is wasn't bar by limitation NCLT. In this case, where last payment towards a loan was made on 18th March 2015, whereas demand notice was issued on 17th August 2017, CIRP petition filed on 16th December 2017 was not barred by limitation. In income tax, there is no updates today. Under GST, assessee permitted to upload trans 1 TRAN 1 till 30th June 2020 in view of direction set out in brand equity case, Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court, in this case, where the assessee could not upload form GST trans 1 due to technical glitches on online portal, competent authority was to be directed to permit assessee to upload form GST trans 1 in view of the direction as set out in judgment of the Delhi High Court in Brand Equity Treaties Limited versus Union of India 2020. Thank you so much for watching this newsletter. Today we have no panel discussion on a notification and circular. Today I only have 3 updates on corporate law and 1 GST. Thank you so much for watching this video. Satyam Vada Dharmachara Satyamev Jayate. Good evening, friends. I am Vipul Kumar. Welcome all of you. News Desk on Income Tax, GST and Corporate Laws. Under corporate laws, SEBI has issued press release on 18th June 2020. Regulatory measures issued by the SEBI to be continued in force till July 30, 2020. On review of the COVID-19 pandemic's related situation, it has been decided that the regulatory measure introduced by SEBI press release dated March 20, 2020 shall continue to be in force till July 30, 2020. Another circular issued on 19 June 2020 today, SEBI further relaxes timelines for compliance with the regulatory requirements. In view of the situation arising due to COVID-19 pandemic, lockdown imposed by the government and the representation received from stock exchanges, the board decided to further extend the timelines for compliance with the regulatory requirement by the trading members or clearing members or depository participant mentioned in the earlier SEBI circulars. Under Income Tax Act, ITAT dismisses ex parte order of the CIT denying Section 80G exemption. ITAT Pune decided on 3rd June 2020. Case name Dhyan Ranjan Section Parasarak Mandal versus CIT exemption, ITAT Pune. The issue under consideration is whether the ex parte order of the CIT exemption denying 80G exemption is justified in law. In the present case, CIT exemption has passed ex parte order for denying Section 80G exemption. The SECI states that the SECI had sufficient reasonable cause for not complying with the notices before the CIT exemption, and non-appearance cannot be attributed to any deliberate misconduct of the SECI. And the SECI is always a bona fide SECI and has always cooperated with the proceedings. ITAT Pune states that the reason explained by the SECI for not complying with the notices before the CIT exemption cannot be attributed to any deliberate non-appearance or malified intention of the SECI, and the principle of the natural justice coupled with the fact that income tax legislation is welfare legislation. It is appropriate to provide another opportunity to SECI to present its case before the CIT exemption. Therefore, ITAT set aside the order of CIT exemption and remand the matter back to his file to adjudicate the matter afresh. Thus, the ground raised by the SECI is allowed. Another case, Tapan Kumar Biswas versus ITAT Kolkata, where high rate of the depreciation not allowed on the vehicles used for the advertisement. The issue under consideration is whether the higher rate of the depreciation can be granted to the vehicle used for the display of advertisement under the provision of the Income Tax Act 1961. In the present case, the assessee is an individual who is engaged in the business of advertisement through the display of banner, hoarding, and mobile van. He has filed an income tax return for the relevant year where he claimed the higher rate of the depreciation, that is 40% for vehicles used for the display of the advertisement, where normally 15% was allowed in the Act. The CIT appeal has rejected the claim and passed the order. ITAT states that the depreciation at a higher rate is allowed on the motor vehicle only if it is used by the SECI in the business of the running the same on hire. Keeping in view the nature of the SECI business, ITAT is of the view that the vehicle used for the display of the advertisement cannot be said to have used in the business of running the same on hire, and the SECI therefore is not entitled to higher rate of the depreciation on such vehicle. ITAT therefore uphold the impugned order of the Law CIT appeal, confirming the disallowances on account of the SECI claim for depreciation at a higher rate on the vehicle. Another case, Sri Rajesh Jain versus ITAT Indore, Section 68 addition merely for deposit of the business receipt of a spouse in joint bank account unsustainable. In this case, the issue under consideration is whether the addition made by the assessing officer under section 68 in respect of deposit of business of wife in their joint bank account is justified in law. In the present case, the assessee maintains a joint bank account with his wife to deposit the rental income of the assessee and his wife. During the year, he deposited business income of wife in that account. The assessing officer treated the deposit of cash in Vizia bank account as undisclosed income under section 68 of the Income Tax Act 1961. ITAT states that the assessee submitted copy of the service tax registration relating to coaching institute. The assessee also submitted that his wife is a taxpayer having source of income from coaching institute, rental income and bank interest, and regularly files income tax return. Copy of the income tax return, balance sheet and profit and loss account was also filed. The assessee also explained that rental income of the assessee and his wife is deposited in the saving account and his wife is at liberty to withdraw or deposit from her bank as per her requirement. On consideration of these facts and circumstances, ITAT states that it is wrong to assume that the assessee is the sole owner of the fund in the said bank account. Therefore, ITAT directs the assessing officer to delete the addition made under section 68. Hence, appeal filed by the assessee is allowed. Under GST, Advance Authority Gujarat ruling Sri Savai Manohar Lal Rathi. Interesting advance ruling authority case. In this case, interest on the PPF saving bank account deposit or loan part of the aggregate turnover for the GST registration. Interest on the PPF personal loan and advances given to family or friends saving bank account to be included in aggregate turnover for GST registration. In this case, Savai Manohar Lal Rathi, the Gujarat Authority for Advance ruling has held that interest income from PPF, interest income from personal loan and advances given to family, friends, and interest income from saving bank account to be included in the aggregate turnover for GST registration. Thank you, friends. Satyam Vada Dharmachara Satyamev Jayate. Thank you so much.